Hi, everybody. Maybe like 10 minutes or something. Yeah. Hello from Mexico. And this is my last day in Puerto Vallarta. This incredible Bay of Banderas. I love this place. Sad to leave. Hello, Bibiana. I have one of your favorite people next to me. I'm not going to flash the camera over on her, though, because she just woke up. So, hello, everybody who's joining me. Thanks for being here. I just kind of wanted, I haven't done a Facebook Live in a while, and I just wanted to say hi. There's just so much going on in the world and in so many different ways right now. And you know, it can be very alluring to get swept into whatever sort of trauma drama you might find yourself, find in front of you, basically. Whether it's, stuff that people are doing or, financial stuff in the world or wars or power, or, the cost of living or the cost of energy or, I mean, there's a large menu of things we can choose from to have trauma and drama with at this point, right? You name it, not to mention whatever may be going on in your personal life. There's so many different trauma drama choices that you could make and choose from. And I just actually completed, I did a year of, I didn't complete it, I'll never stop, but I did a program, different programs over the past. Oh, hello, Rochelle. Big hugs to you. But of one of my absolute go-to tools in Access Consciousness, which is interesting point of view. And interesting point of view is absolute gold. For me, it has been. Interesting point of view is this incredible tool that it's not really about, the tool. Nothing is actually really about the tool. It's about the space that it creates in your world. And it's about getting to greater space and getting to more of you. That's what I'm interested in, is getting to more of me, getting to more space in my own world, and empowering people around me to do the same if they would like to. And sometimes people are very committed to their points of view and their trauma and their drama, and that is okay. That's not wrong. And it's one of those things where in relationships where we tend to not have a lot of allowance of that, because we, yes, IPOV is a game changer. We tend to not have a lot of allowance, when people are choosing things that might make us uncomfortable or, whatever it may be, because, maybe we care about those people, or our world starts to get, our feathers start to get ruffled, or whatever it may be. But it's absolutely one of the most amazing things that I have found in my own life, to have such a space of allowance for people around me, whatever they're choosing, myself included, that does not require anybody to change, myself included, that is an honoring of people and what they're choosing. And people can choose insanity, they can choose trauma drama, they can choose to buy into this reality, and none of that is wrong, and nothing is right either. And that's one of the beautiful things about Interesting Point of View, is that it gets us out of right and wrong. And because right and wrong is one of the things that is, when you really start to see how insidious it is. And this was something I didn't see before I found the tools of Access Consciousness, is I didn't really see how insidious right and wrong was in my world and in the world as a construct. But if you look at everything, you know, all the stuff that goes on in the world and in people's lives, and the, you know, like whatever it may be, fighting and, you know, vying for control, and, you know, people taking sides and whatever, it all comes down to right and wrong, you know, and the point of view that something or somebody is right and something or somebody is wrong, or a situation is right or wrong, or a certain construct is right or wrong. And we use that to define ourselves very dynamically, which keeps us, interestingly enough, beholden to the very reality that we're, you know, sort of wanting to get out of. And because when you function from right and wrong, those are your only choices, you know, and they're basically the same sides. They're two sides of the same coin. And so when you start to be a different space, and for me, one of the things that has helped me so dynamically with this is the tool Interesting Point of View. It's like, to start to be a different space, it's like, wow, you know, this is like, for me, it's given me freedom that I didn't even know was available. And it's also given me freedom that has been kind of like a little scary for me at times, you know, because if we are functioning from right and wrong, then we have this sort of like external guidance of, you know, for like how to show up and how to be and how to function and what to do and how to be with people and how to relate to people and what to choose. Like, we have this guide, you know, that is arbitrarily determined. And the funny thing is that different people have different ideas about right and wrong. So, you know, there's that. Hey, Silver. So, you know, whose idea of right and wrong are you going to choose to function from? You know, because as an infinite being, for me at least, as an infinite being, I know that my being doesn't require right and wrong. It's like there's something different than that is a space of knowing and being and perceiving and receiving and kindness and contribution and caring, that is all about the energy of what is going on and what I perceive, and is about my being. And because when I function from the right and wrong universe, I mean, I remember as a kid actually assessing things dynamically all the time to try to determine what was right and wrong, not what was true for me, but I had to like figure out, you know, I remember actively figuring out what was right and what was wrong, and sort of like logging it, you know, being like, okay, so that's wrong, and that person is bad because they did this, and that person is good because they did this, and now I have to try to figure out how to fit into that construct, except it's different for everybody. So then now I need to try to figure out how to fit into everybody's construct of right and wrong, even though this person's right might be this person's wrong. Somehow I'm going to, you know, use my brilliant capacities as a infinite being, as an X-Men, as a very aware creature. I can be all of it for everybody, you know. And I remember taking all of that information into my own world and constantly making all of these micro adjustments to myself and how I showed up and how I functioned and what I did, and being like, oh, okay, now for this, I gotta do this, and and it was just this constant, like, calibrating myself and how I showed up in the world based on the judgments of other people around me, and also based on what I was aware of. Because one of the things that is true for me, and you know, probably I know for other people too that I've talked to, is like this sense of, like, we are so aware. I know I am so aware that I'm picking up on everybody else's stuff all the time. So we have this another key tool in Access Consciousness, Who Does This Belong To?, which really allows you to acknowledge what you're aware of. That's really what it is. It's just the acknowledgement of what you're aware of. And that you are aware. And it doesn't even matter who it belongs to. It's like it's just this, like, every time I use that tool, who does it belong to? Or also I can ask the question, is this mine? It's like, oh, for me, it's a reminder of how aware I am, because we're like these radio antennas, like constantly picking up on all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of everybody in our field, you know? And so as we do that, it's like, because you as a being don't have a lot of definition inherently, we come into this solid world and we sort of feel like, well, I've got to give myself definition in order to fit, in order to know that I'm right and not wrong, in order to make sense in this reality, in order to relate to people, in order to succeed, in order to have what I'd like to have. And it becomes this more than full-time job, you know, where we're just like constantly, and I know this so well because I have spent my life doing this, constantly assessing what's happening around me, who is it happening to and for, and how can I make it better, you know, for everybody? And how can I make my awareness, you know, like, how can I make my awareness go away? Well, guess what? You can't make your awareness go away, because it is actually the one thing that is real and true about you as an infinite being is your awareness. You can't make it go away. But what you can do is acknowledge that you are aware, and what you are aware of, and how many people you are aware of. And you can acknowledge that, you know, I mean, for me, I'll just speak for myself. Like, what I acknowledge is that nothing is mine. And that to me is one of the most exciting and exhilarating realities and universes to explore. Nothing is mine, you know, which means that I get to be everything. I get to be anything and everything. And you know, one of the gifts of all of the tools that I've used from Access Consciousness and other places as well is that, like, for me, it's like, I just get to have me more all the time. And that's, it's like, in a way, that's all I've got, you know? And I don't say that from the limited point of view of that's all I've got. It's like, that is all that I have. That is my greatest wealth, is me. I am my greatest wealth. And everybody else, everything else will come and go. Everybody else is going to have a point of view. I got really tired in my life of constantly adjusting myself to all of that. I got really tired. And I still do sometimes, you know, where I'm like, oh, you know, when I go into somebody else's universe, or I go into another universe that's being created by lots of people, or I go into, you know, like, oh, the world is in an economic crisis, or there's a war, or there's, you know, whatever it may be. I go into that universe, it starts to get very heavy because I leave myself when I do that. For me, as an infinite being, there is energy, space, consciousness, there's allowance, There's communion with the earth. There's caring and kindness for myself and other people. There's like allowing me to be what I be, and knowing that I'm not fucking perfect, but also knowing that for me, functioning from right and wrong is not something that's gonna get me anywhere other than to more limitation. And so as what I've seen is that the more I just commit to me, to knowing that I know and knowing what I know, knowing that I'm really aware, knowing that I'm aware of everybody, and that a lot of times, most of the time, whatever's going on in my world isn't actually mine, to knowing that when I'm functioning from me as an infinite being, I have space. I have space, I have joy, I have like this connection to the earth, I have connection to me and to my body and to all of consciousness and to lots of beautiful people that are in my world. And, to people that function from crazy and wonderful and everything in between, we all have our moments, right? It's not, again, about being perfect, but it's the amazing thing to me about all of this is that it's so simple. And it's so simple, and yet at the same time, the choice to function from that is such a different choice. It's such a different choice. And you have to actually be willing to be different when you commit to functioning from the energy and the space and the consciousness of you, from the infinite being that you actually are. That's different because you show up in the world not engaged with the trauma and the drama around you. You show up in the world not allured by it, not seduced by it, but actually just aware of it. It's not right, it's not wrong. You're just aware of it, And part of what that gives us is the gift of being able to create very, very dynamically. Because now you get to have your awareness. You get to know what's true for you, what's real for you, beyond doubt, beyond fear, beyond all the distractions that are carefully constructed, cultivated, and, used against us in this reality to keep us beholden to trauma, drama, upset, intrigue, limitation, right, wrong. What occurs is the space of you and the space of ease and joy and glory with absolutely everything. And this is just something that you need to choose. Well, you don't need to. You can do whatever you want. But for me, I'm like, but if you would like to have this, it does have to be a choice all the time. Something that you choose. Because if you don't stay present with you and the energy, space, consciousness that you be, what it is that you know, what it is that you're aware of, beyond all of the constructs, if you don't stay present with that and cultivate that as a reality that is what's actually true for you, then this reality will come in and gladly take over your life. Basically, the trauma, drama, upset, intrigue, it's, as we all know, it's readily available. You can choose it at any moment and get swept down a downward spiral like that and have that be your world, and I just ask you, like, what is it that you would like your world to be? What is it that you would like the world to be? One of kindness, caring, contribution, like actual peace that isn't about right, wrong, that isn't about agreeing on things, but that is about allowing people to be whoever they be and whatever it is that they're choosing, including yourself. Like, what is the future that you would like to create? What is the reality that you would like to create? For me, I know that what I would like to create as a world, as a future, as a reality, as a planet, it only exists if I be that, and if I create it, if I show up as that every day and every moment of every day, as much as I can, being as present as I possibly can. And, you know, we do whatever we do with other people, but we also do so much of this with ourselves. And that's, you know, probably for me, I would say the bigger challenge is like really having the kindness and the caring with me that I have for other people. And that, I have to say, is one of the greatest gifts that Access Consciousness has been to me, is really allowing me to acknowledge how freaking much I care about everybody and everything in ways that I never wanted to know. Because it is not easy being in the world with that much caring, that much awareness of stuff that is just not even, it doesn't even make sense. You know, to me, I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me that people would fight. It doesn't make sense to me that people would go to war, you know, or try to control all the resources on the planet, or it doesn't make sense to me. But guess what? It doesn't have to. You don't have to understand it. The more I give up my understanding, the more I have me and my knowing. And that's, you know, I guess I titled this something like having ease with no matter what, or something like that. To me, that's how we have ease no matter what, is going, you know what, the universe of me, my being, what I know, is my greatest wealth, is my greatest asset, and it's my greatest gift that I can share with the world. And, you know, most people may not even desire for that to be shared. That's fine, you know. They don't have to. But I know what I'm creating. And every morning I wake up and commit to that and show up to do more of that. And it's changing things, you know. We don't realize how much we contribute just by being, you don't realize how much you contribute just by being you, just by desiring a different world. We always judge ourselves because we know we could do more. But what if you also acknowledged what it is that you actually be? That's different. And what if you didn't even have to open your mouth for that to exist? What if your acknowledgement of the difference of you, what's true for you, and the space that you be, allows you to, what if that basically like substantiates that as a reality in ways that nothing else can? You are far more powerful than you realize, and so am I. When we show up not having a point of view beyond right and wrong, with a commitment to the future that we know, and being what it is that we wish to see as the world, even if it's just with ourselves, that becomes more available to everybody. The biggest change is we cannot see until they actually show up. But there's a whole energetic movement that occurs before something actualizes. But if you don't acknowledge that, you kill it. It's kind of like a garden. You know, you plant seeds You know, when you plant seeds in the soil, they're not going to be plants tomorrow. What if you could be like that with you and what it is that you're being and what it is that you're creating, and acknowledge the seeds that you have planted in your own world and in the world that are still germinating under the soil, becoming massive trees. But they're just they're in their infancy. You continue to give them sunlight and water, and they will grow. And that sunlight and that water is the gift of your awareness and your acknowledgement of the difference of you. Receive the gift that you be, and it gets to be in the world so much more. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.